Hey, everybody. I'm Rebecca from Thieving Otter Farm, and we are two chicks Caternix bringing you the scoop, not the poop, on Caternix quail. So, as you can see, my co host is not able to join us tonight, and I promised her that I would put out an episode. And I had a crazy day and scrambled to get something together. And then I finished it just a few minutes ago and decided, like, hadn't recorded it yet. Like, I'd finished making the slides and I was looking at the time and just decided, you know what? I think I'm just going to go live. And so this is how I'm recording it. I'm just winging this. Okay. So this is cool because we haven't been able to do a live show in a while. It's not because we don't want to, it's just scheduling with our crazy schedules is sometimes hard. And it's easier to, film something maybe during the middle of the day during lunch or something like that and put out an episode for you. So, Leah will be back next week. She just wasn't able to make it tonight. Everything's fine. But I thought I'd come on tonight and talk to you about how to spot a scammer. Because if you're on Facebook at all, you know that there are a lot of scammers. And unfortunately, I know some really good people that have accidentally fallen prey to them. So I'm going to do a little slideshow for you. Be sure to go ahead and drop any comments or questions in the feed, and I will talk about those. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Hi, Larry. Glad to see that you were able to join us. All right, so how to spot a scammer 101. Hello, Andy Rabbit. Okay. Okay, so first, if you go to a page or a profile, there's an about section, and you can press on that and get a little bit more information. And some information that you might want to look at is like when the page was created. So if it was created fairly recently, it might be a scam account. Now, there are plenty of reasons why a page or a profile will be new. So a new profile or page does not automatically mean that it's a scam account. Most of the things I'm going to talk about could be completely innocent or it could be a scammer, but you kind of take the big picture. You kind of go, okay, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing 17 red flags. Well, then it's probably a scammer. If you look at it and everything looks legit, but this one thing, well, then you might kind of use caution, but you might not be quite as concerned. Okay, so you're going to look at the date the profile was created, and then look at the category. So this was quail birds and eggs for sale, and it's under pet services. That's kind of correct, but you'll see in a future slide that it's not always. So that's something to look at. A lot of scammers will use grocery. That's a common one. Pet services. Some things that just don't quite fit. Like if you're looking at a breeder that is selling quail eggs, they're probably going to be listed as a farm or a hatchery or something like that, but usually not a pet service. Um, so the other thing to look at is location information. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. A lot of times scammers are from Cameroon for some reason. So if you happen to see Cameroon on there, just like go ahead. Nope, that's a scammer. Just report that. Okay, so let's see. Next. Okay, so this is another example. This one, if you look at the category, it says real estate. Okay, and the title for this page is Backyard Quail Bird and Eggs for Sale, and it's under real estate. So, yeah, probably not legit. and it was created July 25th. Okay. Some of these pictures are old. So, like the date on the last one was a little older simply because I've used some of these photos in some other posts and stuff. But this one was actually one I pulled up today and was from July 26th. Susanna says, since when do quails close on houses? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure mine have cost me about as much of as a mortgage. So, Okay, so then if you look in that about section, there's a profile link. Now, Facebook has changed this a little bit recently that sometimes it will show the link and sometimes you have to actually like copy it and put it in your browser to see what that link is. But if you're able to see this tiny writing, the person's name is Ryan McCarthy, but the profile link says Eshibutu something or other I can't pronounce. So you can see that usually that profile link is going to be the person's name. It's not going to be some weird random name, okay, or something you can't pronounce. And then sometimes that profile link is going to be numbers. Now, again, this is one of those things that sometimes just your average person has numbers. But a lot of times, if they're just numbers and not the person's actual name, it's a scam account. Okay. So, another big thing that I see with scammers is they like to use multiple first names. So, this one is Anthony Kevin Jason. Um, Yeah. So that's a red flag. If you see multiple first names, and again, sometimes people will use like their first name and their middle name as their profile. So it doesn't automatically tell me it's a scammer. But if you see multiple first names or two first names, that's just something where you go, I might want to look at this a little bit deeper. Now, as far as page or group names, um, there are some that really stand out, certain words that are used very commonly with scammers. Okay. As you can see here, quail birds and eggs for sale is pretty common. People don't usually say quail birds, you say quail. And most people, if they're not newbies, now newbies often say quails, plural, but most people that have been in it for a while usually don't say quails. So if you see quails, that can sometimes be a red flag. Quail birds is definitely a red flag. And for some reason, a lot of the accounts will have backyard or poultry farm. There's a big one that I always see, Anna Backyard Quail or Anna Backyard Farm or Anna Backyard Poultry. I don't know why they keep using Anna, but that's a big one. And using the words for sale. Like for sale on Facebook is something we kind of avoid because Facebook tends to pay attention to those words and often shut things down. And why they don't shut these scam accounts down, I don't know. Or maybe that's why they're always new, is because they do get shut down. And then you can, when you're looking in that about information, you can actually check who they follow or who follows them. And if you're an admin for a group, you can also look and see what groups they are in. And if you see a whole lot of other scammers that they're following, they're probably a scammer. And if you see a lot of foreign names, now I'm not trying to be, racist or anything like that. Just simply, if you are a legit American business, it's usually American type names that you're going to see. And yes, we have foreigners that are in America, but if you look in there and there's a whole bunch of them that sound a little funky, and then you start clicking on those and looking at where they live, and you see that they're all from Cameroon, again, red flag. Okay, check the grammar. Now, I can say I have misspelled things and I have maybe not quite paid attention when I was making a post before, and I go back and look at it later and just go, "Oh, that that looks awful," or, autocorrect has a fail. But, if you're seeing a whole bunch of poor grammar and use of uncommon terms that you don't usually see, and then it's also combined with asking to private message, huge red flags. Okay. So this Mayel Stanley says, "Hi, everyone. I still have some quails, quail plural, available, adults and chicks, but I want to greatly give out but adults because I want to start the year with new sets. Message me and delivery and shipping. It's available." Wow, that was hard. There was not a single bit of punctuation in that. So, um, yeah, that's it. If you see odd stuff, it could be a red flag. It could also be, there are plenty of people that are not proficient with Facebook or social media. So, um, again, look at the big picture. Look for multiple red flags. Okay, so here's another example. This one says, also it's from Quail Birds and Eggs for Sale. Available for adorable price. Okay, that's a good one. Adorable price. And then this other one says, jumbo Coturnix quails and eggs available with postage. Not too many people use the word postage in the US. Certainly that can be a common thing in other countries. I think that they use that a lot in the UK and Australia, but in the US, we tend to not use the word postage. We say shipping more often. Do people use it? Sure. But I don't know. It's just one of those things where if you see a term that isn't used super commonly, that's one of those red flags. Look deeper. Susanna, before I keep going, Susanna said, "I noticed on one scam page they had over 1K followers, but hundreds and hundreds were duplicate profiles with the same profile picture." Absolutely. That's another thing to look for. Okay, here's another thing. Look for the word, post using the word kindly. So that is a big one. I see a lot in scam posts. Kindly PM me. They also tend to use the word sir a lot. I guess we have very polite scammers. Um, and asking for friend requests. That's kind of sketchy. Big thing. They want you to message them so they can start trying to get your money. Okay, so when you ask what is your location, or oh yeah, so Monkey Bone 10 times 3 says, or dear. They call you dear. Yes, they do. So anyway, if you ask a question, and they don't answer the question, they immediately go to PM for more info, DM for more info, friend request for more info, anything like that. They're trying to get you to establish communication outside of Facebook, or through messaging, where they can start trying to get your money from you. Okay. They want to be able to start a conversation that is going to lead to a sale. Okay. Now, let me go back to this. Again, this is not always a scammer. Okay. Sometimes, even I have made posts saying, "Hey, if you want some more information on this thing that I am offering, send me a message," because Facebook doesn't like certain words like sale, and price and whatever when it comes to animals. There's a lot of rules against that, which is why most groups don't allow you to sell things in them. So there's plenty of times where people will say, "Hey, shoot me a message and we can talk about this." But Scammers do this, like 100%. So again, if somebody immediately won't answer your question and wants to get you talking off of that thread, it's a red flag. Okay. Um, Another thing to look for is when your post doesn't match the picture. So this one says Bumbo Quail Chicks, Bumbo, not even Jumbo. Quail Chicks available. If you are interested, PM me. So here we go. We have multiple things to look here. It's also from Quail Bird Eggs and Supply. So Bumbo is wrong, and it could be a spelling error or something. So all right, we'll keep going. Um, PM me. Okay, well, now we're back to another red flag. It's got that quail, birds, and eggs supply. So there's another red flag. And if you look in the picture, those are not quail, they're chickens. So look for incorrect spelling, wrong species, wrong color. They'll say Pharaoh quail, and it's a picture of, a spotted chicken, stuff like that. Um, Definitely big red flags. Okay, so next I want to show you some things that some tools that you can use to kind of look a little bit further. And there's an app called Reversey. And then, there's a couple other apps, but these are ones that I personally have used and I'm familiar with. So that app, and then Google Lens is super easy. So you can do a screenshot um, of a picture, and then you can pop it into one of these search engines, and it's going to show you like where that picture originated. So in this case, Mr. Mayle Stanley is making another opinion or appearance. Quail birds available and ready for takeoff. Just place your order. And then has a couple of pictures of some pretty birds in a field. So a quick reverse image search shows that these are common quail. They're not even Japanese quail. And that, this picture has been used over and over. And here's another one. This person has a beautiful picture of a quail as a profile picture, and a reverse image search shows, oh, no, that's not their image. That's actually a very, like everybody knows this quail on Instagram. Okay, so another thing to do is look a little closer at pictures. So this one has a profile picture. It's a pretty picture of a pumpkin and some quail eggs. And when you click on that and expand it out from the little circle that the profile picture makes, you'll see that somebody's logo was on it in the corner. So, and if you look close, it's not the logo for Quail Birds and Eggs for Sale. Here's another one. This one is trying to sell some eggs. And if you look closely, for those of you who are listening to the podcast, this is a picture of several dozens of eggs that are in pulp cartons. And, the cartons are open. There's eggs sitting in there. There's one that's closed. And if you look closely, there is a farm name on the carton. And it doesn't match the name of the person posting it, which is also Quail Birds and Eggs for Sale near me. Kind of getting a theme here. All right, so sometimes it's a little bit more innocent. It's still a little bit of a scam. So I was actually scrolling through Facebook and came across this Ribs Quail Farm, and went, that picture looks familiar. And yeah, their profile picture was one of my pictures that they had cropped out my logo. And then the banner picture included a cropped picture of one of my birds. And so this is a legitimate person. And when I reached out to them, they said, well, that I found those pictures on Google. I can use them. No, you can't actually. Couple of reasons. One, when I put a picture on the internet, that I have copyrighted that picture. Like it's mine. And even if you find it on Google, it's still mine. And you have to ask permission to use it. Some people don't know that, don't realize that. Um, Secondly, um, I forgot where I was going with that. You get to see real life in action here. Um, the other thing is, they've cropped my logo out. They obviously know that this is my farm, my picture. Um, and so you can't do that. Oh, here's where I was going with that. It is a little bit of a scam because if somebody comes to that page and looks at that, they think those birds represent the quality of the birds or the type of birds or whatever that this person is selling. And those are mine. They're not theirs. That doesn't represent their breeding. So aside the fact that using my pictures is not legal, it's also a bit of a scam because it's misrepresenting their products. All right, so let's recap here. Going back to this, Monkey Bone says that they watermark the bird images. Yeah, so you definitely want to watermark your images. And I've made the mistake of kind of keeping my logo watermarks off the bird because I want to, show people my pretty birds and not have writing all over them. But I just shot myself in the foot because people obviously can crop it out. So. All right, so let's recap, and then you guys, if you have any questions, and there's a few that I've missed, but if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot those in the comments. And then after this recap, we'll go over those. So as a recap, check the about info. That is huge, especially if you're an admin of a group and you're looking to let somebody into your group, check that about info. Look at the name. See if it has multiple first names. Check that profile link. Look if it's again, check the name if it's a page name or a group name. There's those common words, as you can see, quail birds and eggs for sale. Check who they're following, who follows them, and what groups they belong to. Look for their grammar. If they're asking you immediately for a PM or a friend request, could be a red flag. If you're using, look for logos and other identifying information, and then you can use that reverse image search to look for the use of stolen photos. So, okay, what did I miss, guys? Can you think of anything that I missed? Any other red flags that you see? I'm going to go up here to the top of the comments and see what we have here. So, let me remove this real quick. All right, so we have Larry Lyon has joined us tonight. Welcome, Larry. Larry's from Double L Quail Farm. And Andy Rabbit is here. Potty Plotter is here from the UK. Hello. And Andy has finally caught us live. And Chantel is driving, but glad to catch us. So back to the part about two first names. Troy mentioned Ricky Bobby. So some could be legit. Let's see. Monkey Bone says the best solution is only buy from Leah and Rebecca. Okay, sure. That works for me. Let's see. Monkey Bone says, oh yeah, I was skeeved hard. Like, thanks, married Miss Rando. I'm sorry that happened to you. Okay, so this is a really good question. What's a good filter question you'd recommend? NPIP certification, ACBA membership? Absolutely. The ACBA is still a little bit new, and there's not necessarily a good way to look up members unless they're a professional member and they're listed on the hold on just a second here. Hey, hon. Well, hopefully you can't hear my dog eating. He just fed the dog right next to me, and there's a whole lot of crunching going on. But the full membership of the ACBA is not listed on the website, just the professional members. So that might not be helpful. MPIP absolutely is, because you can look that person up and you can prove whether or not they're being truthful. So they may give you a number, an MPIP number. Go check it. Look it up by state. You can go to the MPIP website and look it up by state. Um, Sometimes too, if you think that they're a scammer, you can ask them for something random, like, "Oh, do you have the new purple spotted banded quail?" And they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I can sell you those. Yeah, let's place an order now." So, like, be silly. Um, so, those are some things. And then you can also look, you could go to some of the Facebook groups, look and see if they're in them. The most common groups like Katernik's Corner and stuff like that. Look and see if they're in, and what they're answering, or if they're, you know, making posts that seem legitimate. Andy Rabbit says, oh, let me scroll here. I have seen chicken pictures on quail ads before. Absolutely. Yep. Big red flag. Let's see. Troy says, excited, got an email, one of my TOF orders shipped today. Anytime you get any orders coming in, it's exciting. Larry wants to know, if a scammer steals your photos, what can you do about it? So if it, like in my case, now I have had like scammers from like Cameroon steal my photos before, and I will report them. And I will keep reporting them, and I will go in and I will put a review if it's a page. I'll put a review saying that they're scammers. A lot of people will put angry emojis on stuff. I will make comments. I will do everything in my power to be annoying, and try to have other people see it. But I mean, really, there's not much else that you can do other than report them. As far as if it's an actual person, you can try messaging privately, or, posting a comment under that picture. The particular one I shared earlier, normally I wouldn't call somebody out like this, but we went back and forth and that person was really a jerk. So, but, in some cases you have to threaten legal action. And sometimes be ready to follow through with that if they're really being awful. Um, so Monkey Bone said, that's what I did. I ordered a bunch from Leah a month or so ago. No scams with her. Absolutely. That is another option. Go with somebody that you've seen us here. We're very active on Facebook and social media. We have legitimate websites. Here's a good one. A lot of times, scammers will want you to pay through friends and family on PayPal. And the reason why is friends and family, there's no recourse for, you can't get your money back. Like if you pay through a business, the business PayPal side of things, you can file a claim with PayPal and get your money back. But if you do friends and family, you can't. So that's a red flag. If the person is asking you to pay through friends and family, or to, I don't know, some scammers I think are trying to get you to pay in other weird ways that you wouldn't normally do. Let's see. Andy Rabbit says, if we were to ask someone, say for your MPIP number in a live or Facebook message, not a private message, should they be afraid to say it out loud? I don't think so. My MPIP number is in a public database. Right now, you guys could go to, National Poultry Improvement Program and search by state, find Tennessee, and look for Thieving Otter Farm or Rebecca Lynch, and you can find my number. So it's public already. It is on my website. I'm not afraid to show it. So, and some people will say, well, somebody else might use your number. Well, yeah, they could. They could look it up on the MPIP website, um, and use it. But then when, say Andy goes to ask them what's your MPIP number and they give them my number, the information on that number is not going to match their information. So I wouldn't be worried about it. Monkey Bones says cease and desist letter if you have a lawyer. Yep, I've had to do that before. I'm very grateful that I have a very good friend that's been a friend of mine for past 2 decades, who's a lawyer, and yeah, he'll write me a letter if I ask him to. Larry wants to know, who do you report to? It's in Facebook. So if, you can report a photo, you can report a post, you can report the entire person. There are different ways to do that. I'd have to pull up Facebook right now to look under each individual, post or whatever. But usually it's the dots in the corner. It'll give you options that you can do that. So Larry says, that's what happened to me just a while back. Ordered some eggs and they wanted me to pay through friends and family, and it was a scam. Larry, I hope that you didn't get scammed on that. I hate that for you. And that's exactly it. Friends and family is definitely a scam. So you guys have any other questions before we close up tonight? Nothing much? Okay. Well, feel free, if you think of any other questions, to drop them in the comments and we'll take a look, and hope you guys are having a good summer. Have a great night.